Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Do you want me to twist your scrotum again today? Yes, and make it do it very well. Not like last night. Disgusting. Your country disgusts me. Now make me orgasm.
No opium until I'm finished.
Exactly. Yeah. So we were like loudly doing this like improv sketch for like half an hour on the bus with a bunch of other professors, and they were like staring straight ahead and not looking at us. It was fun. Anyway, he wants to.
I'm glad you're having fun.
Live from America and China, it's Mean and Sober. And now, the Dems are in Miami debating healthcare, and Ethan's in Shanghai debating over which ladyboy looks healthiest. It's your hosts, Ethan Moore and John Gregory. Hey, John, how you doing?
Ethan, I'm doing great because I'm in the land of freedom and opportunity. How are you doing?
Seems like there's a lot of opportunity here in Shanghai, the commercial capital of the People's Republic of China.
Yeah, you and Freddie are just giving each other avian flu back and forth.
I am here with Miami comic sensation Freddie Stebbins. We're here. I'm teaching philosophy and he's teaching sociology, so we're basically trying to do cultural Marxism on actual Marxists. That's the plan.
It's amazing to me that they will import, Gaijin to teach philosophy. That seems so counter-revolutionary.
Well, I'm teaching it in the American style, John.
Which is what? You don't have to do your homework?
Yeah. That's right. You just cheat like Alexis. Yeah.
I think though that cheating is actually way worse in China than in America.
It's pretty bad here. Yeah.
I remember I read something a couple of years ago about parents because they were all taking these high school kids were taking a standardized test in this giant gymnasium, Chinese style one.
Yeah, the Gaokao.
And they had to. And they had to. The parents were like sneaking in answer sheets and like trying to cheat for them and stuff.
Yeah, Lori Loughlin, eat your heart out, right? Yeah, it's pretty bad. But these kids are all like studying in the U.S. They're just back home for the summer, getting a few general education credits. That's how it works.
I see.
Yeah, so it's full American community college style, John. Basically it's Florida. It's Florida East. We even have Haitian kids.
It sounds like hell.
No, we don't have Haitians. I'm just kidding.
Oh, thank God.
No, that would be interesting though.
I guess.
Spice things up.
I wonder where they would place. I wonder where their test scores would be on the bell curve in Asia.
All right, John. With the scientific racism, please, come on. It's just enough already. Jared Diamond is wagging his finger at you right now.
I don't know who that is.
He's the guy who wrote Guns, Germs, and Steel.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, you do. It's that book that explains why it's not because of genetics. It's because of the geography. That's what affected all the different outcomes for different cultures and people. Yeah,
but the geography affects genetics.
Wow.
Obviously, I mean that's why that's where speciation comes from.
No, John. It's all geography.
Okay, all right.
It's geographical materialism. Okay.
Classic libtard lies.
All right, I'm choking over here on my. I'm
on Freddie.
Yeah. All right. Well, I've been hanging out in Shanghai, John, and it's pretty great. I gotta say.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's kind of like New York, except with all those pesky white people,
Or blacks.
Yeah. That's true.
Or thieving murderous blacks, right, Ethan?
No, what? Jesus Christ, John. There are some black people here. It's a multicultural paradise. Why are you laughing right now? That's evil laugh. It's the kind of laugh that a person with a bust of Hitler would have.
A bust of Hitler that smells like you.
I'm gonna see if they have any more bust of Hitler. Freddie said he wanted to get one. He said, I was like, oh yeah. He was like, no, I wouldn't get one. And I was like, you should get one, and then you can paint like Trump's face onto it. And he's like, ooh, that's a good idea.
You'll do anything to move those Hitlers, huh,
Ethan? Everything must go, John. Yeah. Well. I mean, I have to move them out of my colon. You know.
Yeah. You're like, that Chinese Hitler smuggler gave me a great deal, or so I thought. I'm feeling pretty sore right now.
I'm feeling pretty full.
Good God.
Oh, come on, John. John. But no, it's fascinating here in China. Of course. I mean, every time I have a great time when I'm here. But John, I had a thought while I've been here. Okay, I want to tell you something, and it's either very
a rare occasion, a rare occasion for our mean and sober listeners.
All right, stop it. Let me tell you something. It's either very good or very bad. You be the judge. Okay.
I already know which way I'm leaning.
All right. So John, imagine a race of people. Are you okay with the term race? Is that?
Yes.
Okay. Imagine a race of people who are clever, John. Very clever, quick-witted,
scheming,
devious,
scheming,
high IQ. I say, John. All right.
Wow. So far I hate them.
Okay, so John, these people, they care a lot about maintaining their cultural identity. They don't intermarry much. Care about education, family. Frugal, John. They're frugal. They love a bargain. Okay. They're great at saving money, making money. Savvy investors. They love capitalism, John. They love it so much they OD on it. And all of a sudden, a large group of them just goes full communist.
Oh, my God. They sound like traitors.
John, then these communists, they attempt to shape the world according to their way of life. Do you have a race in mind, John?
Oh, my God. I can picture it clear as day with their grubby little paws John, rubbing each other.
Have you figured out who I'm talking about, John?
Of course, Ethan, but I don't know if I want to name them. I'll get in trouble. Okay,
John, so here, now, last point. Now imagine that there are 1.4 billion of them.
Oh, my God,
no. They control the largest nation on Earth.
And they're hoarding all the gold?
I don't know about the gold, but certainly they're mining all the Bitcoin. Yes, John. We're talking about, of course, the Muslims. No, just kidding. That's the Chinese. Yeah.
I knew it wasn't the Muslims. You said high IQ.
Oh, come on, John. Muslim can be any race, as you know.
But they all choose to be one.
And IQ can be any race can be any IQ also.
Yeah, in theory.
Well, as you say, it's very important to treat everyone as an individual with respect.
Yeah, but the hoarding gold thing is accurate actually, because China is the world's largest producer of gold and the world's largest importer of gold.
Well, good. I guess I'll have to get you a golden statue of Hitler.
God, all this misplaced anger I've had towards the Jews, Ethan.
Yeah.
Now I'm realizing the Uyghurs are the real Palestinians.
Well, actually, wait a minute.
Now I support Israel in her conquest of her Arab neighbors.
I don't know about all that. Can we just support Israel in general?
Do you really?
Well, can we just... I like Israel. It's a democracy. Democracy's good.
It's an apartheid state, Ethan.
Well, that's sort of putting this case a little bit strongly, don't you think?
Not strong enough, I say.
John, I will say one thing that's great about being out here in China is no political correctness. It's amazing.
Oh yeah, I know. That's like the great irony of our times is like the actual real Marxists. They're like way more base than like Tucker Carlson even
than Twitter Marxists. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you never have to watch what you say. Like I was actually talking to my my TA, my teaching assistant. Yeah, and he goes to like University of Toronto. So I was like, "Oh, hey, do you know who Jordan Peterson is?" And he was like, "Well, I've heard the name. What is he famous for?" And I was like, hey, "He's famous for not using trans pronouns, I guess."
Yeah.
And also, I mean, we were talking about religion and philosophy and stuff, but I was like, he's famous for that. But the trans pronouns thing is what got him famous. And he was like, "What?" He was like, so he was like, "So wait a minute, you mean if someone switched genders, he wouldn't refer to them by the new gender?" And I said, "Oh no, he would, but he just wouldn't use those. He wouldn't use those in between pronouns." And he was like, "What do you mean in between?" And I told him what that meant, like juror and all them in between pronouns. And he was like, "That's ridiculous. There are only two genders."
Wait a minute! Wow, this guy has not. When was the last time he went back to Toronto? Things have changed.
No, he's just here for the summer. And I as soon as he said that, John, I was like, "Listen, you rice-eating chai-com. You have a lot of things to learn about tolerance, okay?"
He's like, "Hey, there's only two genders, and we all look the same." And you're like, "Well, you know."
No, John. A lot of cute girls here, you know.
Yeah, if you're into sideways pussy.
All right, John. It's just straight up and down like normal. Stop it. Why do you have to always say something racist when I'm trying to make an important point about how hot people are? Okay.
It's straight up and down bullshit.
What do you mean? I don't know what porn you've been watching, John, but probably
none.
some. That's right. You've been reading the Bible.
No, the legend of the sideways Chinese pussy was passed down from my father and his father and his father before him, Ethan.
Well, where'd Julie Baez pick it up?
Porn.
Okay. I knew it. Yeah, I was talking with Freddie about that too. He's like, "Why do I keep doing the Japanese voice every time I'm trying to do Chinese?" I'm like, "I don't know, because you're Julie Baez." Yeah. Let me see what's funny about China. So the elevator thing. Did I ever tell you about that?
No.
So in China, there's this really weird. They're really nice. Like if you talk to someone in China and you like you sort of ask them for help, and you're using your like translator app and trying to figure something out, they'll be really like gracious and helpful usually. But just they have like a different idea of personal space, right?
Yeah, which is they don't have the idea of personal space.
Yeah, they don't have that one, and but it manifests in like the most bizarre form of rudeness ever, which is like if you're on an elevator with like 10 people, right, and there's like 3 Chinese people that are trying to get on that elevator, when it arrives at the floor, then like they will try to cram themselves in like into the 10 people that are trying to get off.
Instead of just waiting for them to come out.
Yeah, instead of just taking half a step back and then, just letting them walk out and then going in. It's really weird. They do it in the subway too. Like they will like my friend the other day, he was like on the subway and he was like 3 people in the subway and then like 2 people coming in and the guy just like came in and like body checked him, just like, it's like, what's the point of doing that? It seems like illogical, I guess. Like, it seems like it's not just politeness. It's like doesn't actually make sense. Like, wouldn't you just?
Yeah, it's almost like they're like soulless automatons, like they're bugs or something.
Oh,
right,
Jesus Christ, John! Why do you always have to go to say things awful like that?
No, but I mean, like that really is like a part of their culture. It's like not
being
recognizing
soulless bugs. That's a part of their culture. What the fuck are you talking about?
Your words, not mine, Ethan.
Hardly. You just said them.
No, but just like because I remember when Carl Pilkington was in China and he was walking past the bathroom and this guy was there was no door on the stall and the toilet was just a hole in the ground and this guy was just taking a shit while on the phone. And Carl Pilkington was, "Yeah, don't mind me, just having a shit." Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he's the an idiot abroad guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Ricky Gervais's buddy. Yeah, he's funny.
And the
sometimes.
Chinese all spit, don't they?
In my mouth, John. No, I haven't seen a lot of spitting, but I would say one thing that's funny about the toilets, which I had forgotten, because Jesus Christ, what is happening in the background, John?
Nothing. What?
I hear lots of ice and I don't know. It sounds like are you in a Chinese meat market? What's going on? Is there someone butchering a live chicken?
Is that a euphemism?
All right. Anyway, I forgot this thing, which is totally weird about the bathroom in Asia. It's not just in China, too. Singapore, Vietnam, whatever. So, like, you'd be, like, in a men's bathroom, and, like, there'll just be, like, a bunch of dudes, like, with their dicks out, right? And
sounds right.
And then like an old like Chinese lady will come in and clean the bathroom, and there'll be like dudes like taking shits and just like it's like weird. Like they don't like it's always women that clean the bathroom, even when it's the men's bathroom. I don't know. It's just I think it's like a social class thing. They're like you're like basically invisible, you know.
Oh sure.
But I still find it really weird. Like I'm just like okay, do you want me to put my dick away before you like clean this part of the bathroom, or?
And she's like, please do not address me.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, the subway's great too. I like the subway here. It's like I don't know. They say it's like the New York of China, you know, because it's the commercial capital. And the subway's
You mean like a shitty, stinky hellhole?
It's actually really nice here, though. Like, it's nicer than New York, I think, in a lot of ways. But they when you go on the subway, it's very efficient. Everything works. The trains do run on time, more or less. But people miss the trains. And they so there's this thing where, like, people, you know how, like, if you're in any subway anywhere in the world, people will be rushing to get to their next subway stop?
Sure.
But not here. Like, literally, they will, like, all stand and crowd the escalator going down. None of them will walk down the stairs. They'll just, like, stand there and then watch their train, like, drive away. Instead of, like...
I don't understand.
Like, they won't, like, take a few steps and, like, rush to get on the, like, train that's about to leave. They just let the train go and, like, wait get on the next one.
Why?
I don't know. It's so weird. I'm like, and I'll be like standing behind a crowd of them, like, that's my train too. Like, go forward.
Like, move.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, but there's too many and you can't. It's just, yeah.
There are too many.
Well, you know, I'm in their country when in Rome. I'm just an ugly American here, you know.
You're just a towering American.
I am towering, loudly complaining about the, VPN issue here, which is the fact that nothing works because like Google Maps doesn't work and Gmail and Facebook and Instagram. You have to get a VPN, and then you get the VPN and it only works like sometimes, and it's just like I don't know how that doesn't seem sustainable. It's actually worse now than it was. They started like black bagging the CEOs of VPN companies recently and cracking down even more.
Wow, that's crazy.
They also recently like said that like Beijing, no one will smoke cigarettes, and I'm like, that's insane because everyone smokes all the time, like constantly.
Wait, so I don't understand. You're saying there's propaganda that no one smokes and people smoke, or what?
No, they made a rule that like no one will ever smoke from now on, like inside, outside.
Smoking is illegal in Beijing.
That's what I heard. Yeah, I don't think they're actually. I think it hasn't actually happened yet, but I don't know how they're gonna. I have no idea how they're going to do that one. I don't know.
Wow. But the thing is, the problem with that is no one wants the organs of a smoker, Ethan. So I feel like their usual methods aren't going to work here.
All right. I asked another one of my TAs, I said, hey, are you going to stay in America? Because he goes to, like, I don't know, Ohio State or some place like that. And I was like, hey, do you want to stay in America? You know, like maybe marry an American girl? And he was like, no, interracial relationships are too hard. And I disagree, John. I disagree. I say interracial relationships are like trade wars. They're good and easy to win.
Ethan. Let's not kid ourselves here.
I love being in interracial relationships. I love all races and having sex with all of them at once, John, at the same time.
I love them too, but I appreciate them from afar.
Interracial relationships, or
no, just races. You said.
Okay. So you're a segregationist? Is that what you're saying, John?
No, of course not, Ethan.
Okay, Biden.
That is like my favorite thing. If we could just briefly talk about how everyone's giving
let's
Biden
talk about
shit.
Kamala Harris and, yes, the Democratic debates. Shall we talk about that, John?
Yeah, but it's so funny because everyone is because Kamala Harris is calling Biden a racist or whatever,
Because he said she scored some points, I guess, in the debate. And by the way, it was kind of racist and funny that the headlines, which twice on two different websites, it would be like Booker shines, or out of this debate, the narrative is Kamala shines. I'm like, well,
yeah, they're both shines.
I mean, I just felt like it was like shoes, or do they not understand the historical term there? Like Politico, listen, do you not know?
Yeah, I love it. It's like Kamala Harris wins in spades.
I know.
It's like, okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's okay. Be a little more careful with your typewriter there, Politico.
But what I thought was so funny is like all of a sudden Biden is racist.
Yes, he's racist because he said that he would reach across the aisle, and in his many decades as a public servant, he's even worked with like Dixiecrats and people like that who are segregationists, right?
Right.
And so he could work with anyone, and get things done. And so then, so people are like, oh, he's a racist. He's clearly a racist.
I know. He was vice president of the United States for 8 years with a black guy. Never once did this racism thing come up. Not a single time.
Well, it's funny because we were joking about how it won't be too long before people start describing voting. Like when I voted for Obama, people would be like, Ethan, you voted for Obama? Known white supremacist Barack Obama?
Barack Hussein Obama.
That's right. Part of the problem. Time's up, Obama. Okay.
It's funny because it's not propaganda. Like Joe Biden and Obama are really, really close, really good friends, And
just because he has a black friend, John, he's not racist?
That's what I'm saying.
That's what a racist would say, okay?
but Obama's gonna have to come out from his vacation and be like, no, guys, Biden's not racist, right? This is all lies.
It is lies. It's hilarious. They're funny lies. Good. He works with segregationists. I hope he works with fucking Trumpers, good.
Yeah, I hope he works with Nazis.
I don't hope that, but that's a bridge too far, John. He's not that old.
Reaching across the aisle, Ethan. There's good people on both sides here.
He's not that old, okay? He's not. He's like, yes, when I was negotiating with von Ribbentrop. No, but the Kamala Harris thing. So she came out of the debate the clear winner, according to Twitter or whatever.
According to the establishment media.
Yes, and she was like, it was the stupidest thing. So she had avoided commenting all week on Biden in his remarks about reaching across the aisle and working with Dixiecrats, and so they were like, oh, she's playing it close to the vest here, and then she was obviously waiting to spring the trap on him during the debate, right? And she was like, I was hurt by your remarks, Vice President Biden, and she talked about how she was one of the first classes in California to be integrated and blah blah blah. Okay, it's a very touching story, but I was hurt by your remarks. No, come on, no.
No, you're an unfeeling sociopath, Kamala Harris. Well, let's not kid ourselves here.
I mean, first of all, it's politics. It ain't, it ain't beanbag, right? Like they say, right? I mean, if you can't.
Who the fuck says that?
I don't know. This is like an old saying.
Is that a Chinese expression?
Politics ain't beanbag. It's Mao Zedong. Yeah.
No. It's just politics no beanbag.
All right, John. Now I think you're racist, okay?
No. Where are you getting this from?
But yeah, if I don't want someone running the country who like can't take like some words from someone, not even directed at her.
Yeah, not like Trump.
That's true. He just kind of get fucking cunty pretty quickly, doesn't he? But like, second of all, yes, as you bring up, like, of course she's not serious. It's just a dodge.
It's a bad faith argument.
Yeah, she's lying. She wants you to forget that she was a prosecutor, And
that she is the main upholder of institutional racism in the United States.
Yes, actual institutional racism, right? Not hypothetical. I would work with people, try to solve problems. Yeah, I mean,
my favorite tweet though about it was it's like Kamala Harris, Mr. Biden, you're a racist. Joe Biden. Well, I would respond to that, but it is my bedtime.
Okay. She actually was like, I don't think you're a racist. It's like, oh, thanks for the fucking credit, She's like, I don't think you're a racist. You just do and say racist things all the time,
I just think you hate black people.
Right. I think you feel fine about the other races, just us. Yeah.
God. I hate Kamala Harris. And the fact that the establishment was so quick to crown her like the winner, like made me hate her all the more, because her record, and this is something I've covered previously on previous podcasts, her record is atrocious as a prosecutor. Like, she is like a thin blue line cunt.
All right, John, the C word. Come
no.
on.
Okay, sorry, whore.
All right. Now, just use a word you could also use against a man, John.
Well, you said I couldn't use the N-word.
Well, you definitely can't say that.
Well, that's genderless.
But you always find a way, don't you, John? God, I don't want the vision of America that Kamala Harris represents, which is like the super woke left Twitter vision, like where no one is allowed to cook or eat the food of another culture.
Right, yeah.
And
because that's appropriation or whatever.
Right, which cultural appropriation is... all culture is cultural appropriation. Literally.
Yes, and the whole fucking point of America is that it's a mixing pot. Like, that's like the whole thing. It's like all the fucking libtard propaganda that we've been fed over the last 30 years was that it's like, oh, it's all great that we all get together and we're multicultural and we eat each other's foods and enjoy each other's customs. And now
asses.
That's bad.
We eat each other's asses, too. I say
no,
so.
Ethan, goodness.
But yeah, like, it's like... what's the vision of America that we are now positing with this? Like, it's like if you go far enough left, then you actually are like, no, we should all be segregated. It's like, actually, you go into segregation, like, the other way or something. And it'll be like, you'll walk down the street and be like, the vision of America that Kamala Harris represents is walk down the street and you can be like, hey, that's a black guy. Well, he's certainly a Democrat. And hey, that's a white guy, definitely a Republican.
Right, yeah.
We're all just in
Although that's pretty accurate.
Well, I know, but I don't want that.
You want black guys to vote Republican.
And white guys to vote Democrat. Yes.
They do.
There are some, yeah.
There are a lot. It was something like only 60% of white men voted for Trump.
Only. I was in a bus yesterday. I was texting you about this or today actually earlier, and the tour guide was like, Xi Jinping, he's the best president since Deng Xiaoping and Mao Zedong. He has 100% of the support of the Chinese people. I was like, wow, 100%, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and I was texting you like, challenge him, Ethan. Call him on his bullshit.
Yeah, and then you were texting me like, down the PRC, Kuomintang, and like all this.
Yeah.
You're like,
and I was saying,
Agent Moore, detonate your capitalist bomb or whatever.
and you said like, oh, wise leaders, please kill this man right now. And I was like, message received. The device is in play.
Yeah, I'm like, disavow. I disavow this. I don't know this guy.
I was really hoping something would happen. That would make for a great episode.
I'm like that in Pulp Fiction, where Vincent Vega calls up his drug dealer, his heroin dealer, with the wife of Marcellus Wallace, like ODing.
I don't know you.
Yeah, I don't know. Prank caller. That was me. Yeah, that was Eric Stoltz. Yeah. Did you watch the other debate, John? There were two. There's a lot.
I did want to cover one more lie that Kamala Harris made in that second debate.
All right.
Which is she said that she was for like body cams for police. And then, like, that was something like she wanted, like, nationwide to happen.
I'm for webcams, John, for police.
But she literally blocked body cams becoming a thing in California when she was in power. Like, she actively was against it.
Well,
and so
she was against it before she was for it, John. She evolved on the issue.
No, she lied. She said she was always for it.
Oh, okay.
And she was actively against it. Like, she went out of her way because she's all about, like, when that prosecutor was being tried for lying and trying to convict an innocent man, and then it came out, she, like, went out of her way to shield the prosecutors who were guilty of that. She is, like, all thin blue lines. She is on... She advocates on behalf of the powerful against the powerless.
Yeah, she does do a lot of that. That's why we need her on our side, John. Yeah.
Which, don't get me wrong, that's pretty base.
Oh man, did you watch the other one or any? I didn't really watch them. I watched the coverage from China and.
Ethan, if you think I spent a moment listening to those libtards, you are out of your fucking mind.
Well, there was a famous story that came out that was kind of a big story, which was they asked during the first debate, like, who would support abolishing private insurance. Did you see that? And
I didn't see that.
And Elizabeth Warren and Bill de Blasio raised their hands, which no one else would. And one of the other guys,
even Bernie.
No, I think he was in the other one. He was in the other debate.
Oh, okay.
This was in the first debate I'm talking about. Yeah, it was like the night before. And
I saw that they all said that they would give illegal immigrants free health care. No, I'm serious. The moderator asked them, "Would you give illegal immigrants free health care?" And they all raised their hands.
I say we only do that if it makes sense fiscally, John.
It doesn't make sense fiscally, Ethan.
Preventive care, John.
Yeah. Let me know if this makes sense fiscally. Everyone is allowed to come to the United States and get free health care.
I don't know, maybe not.
No, that does not make sense fiscally, Ethan.
But okay, so that all right, that seems like it might be a bad idea, but abolishing private insurance seems like also kind of insane, right? Like literally, obviously, in America, you cannot pay someone to insure you. How would that even work? Like,
with
it's
violence.
Like it's illegal to like hire a company to insure you? That seems crazy.
I like that, like, an entire sector of the economy would just become unemployed overnight.
Yeah, I know, right? If Trump doesn't crash the economy, we will. That's our slogan. Yeah.
What's hilarious is, like, 3 out of every $5 spent on healthcare these days goes to administrative costs, like government compliance. And, like, so their thought is, boy, these private insurers really suck. And it's like, no, you fucking assholes, you retards. Like, it is literally the reason healthcare has gotten so much more expensive. And it really has, like, since like the first Clinton healthcare bill in the 90s was passed. That was like the first one that really started driving up the administrative cost of healthcare. Like, it's totally been government interference. That is the main cause in the rising cost of healthcare in this country. And the fact that they're asking, like, oh, would you just abolish private healthcare? It's like they really cannot comprehend the difference between ought and is. They live in a world of ought.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what the solution is. As I've said many times on this show, I would like to have free healthcare for all Americans, but I don't actually see whether we can do it. And I definitely don't think that you should stop people from being able to buy healthcare if they want it. I mean, Jesus.
You would have to, though. If you wanted to nationalize the healthcare industry, which is how you would come about getting free healthcare, I don't know another way, then you would have to abolish.
But what if you wanted to be insured for like even better stuff? You can't like add something on top of the main government benefits? That seems like I think you can in other countries that have socialized medicine.
Well, of course, yes, and that goes to the entire myth that of healthcare for all, because the rich people will always be able to pay for better services.
No, John, it's abolished. They go to prison if they try.
But like rich people from Canada, you know what they do? They come to the United States and get their expensive surgeries from, world-class doctors. But hopefully those world-class doctors will not get one red cent and private healthcare will be abolished.
Yeah, actually, one of the other Democratic hopefuls, to use that phrase, John Delaney, who's on the stage with them, he like responded and he was like, "This doesn't make any sense." Like abolishing. I have the quote here. He said, "It's bad policy. If you go to every hospital in this country and you ask them, like, how would it have been for you if every one of your bills were paid at the Medicare rate?" Because that's what they're saying, basically. Medicare for all.
Yeah, sure.
He's like, every single hospital administrator said they would close. So, to some extent, we're basically supporting a bill that will have every hospital closed. And then he said, what if I told this to my electrician father, who's on union health insurance? He'd look at me and he'd say, "Good job, John, for getting health care for every American. But why are you taking my health care away?"
I like that. A Democrat who lives in reality. That pretty much tells you he has zero chance of becoming the nominee.
Yeah, I was like, John Mulaney, the comedian? Who is this?
Although John Mulaney probably has the only funny anti-Trump stand-up joke, which is the horse getting into the hospital.
Oh yeah.
That was a great bit.
I always, whenever he said that, I was just always thinking about Cool Keith, the rapper, because he has like a line where there's a horse in the hospital. Anyway, I don't know. It just always jogs my memory of that. Maybe I'm dating myself a little bit. Dr. Octagon, 1996, great album. Anyway.
I was 7.
All right, John. All right. Don't rub it in, okay?
Yeah, you have plenty of Chinese fags to do that for you.
John, when I was 7, okay, I was having my first Chinese ladyboy, all right?
That's so horrible. That explains a lot.
Oh, what else are we going to talk about, John? What about, I don't know, do you want to talk about the N-word, bro? No, we don't need to talk about him, do we?
What N-word, bro?
Just, we were texting about, I was telling you, I was listening to this podcast where they were told.
Oh, yeah.
This happened, I think right before I left for China, but maybe a little bit before that. This guy who was a high schooler who got into Harvard.
He went to Parkland.
He was a Parkland, yes.
Survivor.
A Parkland survivor who was he was right wing. He was pro-Trump and anti-gun control.
Pro-guns.
Yeah. So he was the Wright's version of David Hogg, I guess, right?
Right, which is why he wasn't nearly as famous, because the media pretty much did a blackout of him.
If you will. And and so Harvard let him in, and then it came out that on some Google Doc when he was 16 or something.
Yes.
The shared Google Doc that other students had been on, he had typed the N-word over and over. Just the way kids do, not
classic, yeah.
Not actually, scrawling on a bathroom stall kind of thing, just saying the most offensive thing you could think of. And,
right, yeah.
And then, that came out that he had written, not at anyone. He didn't tweet it. He didn't say it in anger. No.
Yeah.
He just typed a bad word on an electronic piece of paper that some other people saw. Not a public document. A document that was shared between a few people. But one of those people I guess, like, snitched him out
Snitched.
for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they told Harvard, and Harvard took away his admission offer. Which is funny, but, like, also, like, Jesus, really? Like, that's... And then I was listening to this podcast I listened to called Thinking Like a Lawyer, and they were all just talking about how correct Harvard was to do this, and I was like, I don't think that. I think it's, like, immoral, right? Like, I don't.
Yeah, and
like
that's so weird because I know
it's
the
morally
the people
wrong. I think what Harvard did.
I know the people on Think Like a Lawyer usually disagree with Harvard, so that's really shocking that they would come out and agree with them there. No, but obviously, if
Like,
David Hogg had,
like, you could kill someone. You could be a drug dealer, right? And then you could, like, be like, I saw the error of my ways, and I blah blah blah, and they would be like, wow, this kid, great redemptive story. Come to Harvard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
obviously, this hypothetical murderer is black.
No, I didn't say obviously, but...
No, but obviously he is, because Harvard...
No, he's David Hogg, John.
They bend over backwards for that kind of thing. Like, when they say they want more diversity, what they mean is they want more black people. They don't mean they want more Asians or Jews. They mean they want more black people.
Well, I think you should have more Asians and Jews and more black people, John. How about that?
Just anything but white.
You got it.
Anti-white.
And if that makes me a racist, then so be it, John.
But you know, white people literally have the lowest in-group preference of any other ethnicity.
And can you blame us, John? Really? I mean, look around the world.
Yeah, right, yes. It's better in the white parts.
No, I'm saying, yeah, we really screwed up for the other people. That's what I'm saying, John.
Yeah, when I go look at the Hods who haven't changed the way they live in 40,000 years, I'm like, damn, I can't believe white people did this to you.
All right. The who?
The Hadza. It's a famous tribe in Africa. Would you rather I said the Maasai?
No, I thought you said the Hogs, and you were talking about David Hogg again. I just got confused.
No, but like, speaking of David Hogg, let's not kid ourselves. If David Hogg, if it had come out that he said the N-word, all he would have to do is some public apology and be like, I was a kid then, but I'm a man now because I survived the Parkland shooting, and he would have been totally forgiven.
I think that's what this guy did, by the way. I think he was like, yeah, I'm sorry, Harvard. It was a stupid thing to do. I was 16. And they were like, "No, you'll never go to see." Because that's really what you're saying. It's like, I mean, it's like, no, you won't be able to get in anywhere. I mean, maybe you can still. I guess you could probably get into some other school.
He'll go to Duke.
He'll go to, like, I don't know, University of Utah or something. I don't know. Somewhere. Yeah,
Brigham Young.
Yeah, they like that. Yeah.
And they're like, we loved what you said about black people. And he's like,
it's in our holy book, actually.
It's like, yeah, we think you're the next Joseph Smith, actually.
Who also loved guns, incidentally. Yeah. Oh, John. Bitcoin's at $12,000 now.
Not too shabby.
It shot up to like 13.7 or something for like a minute. And then, like,
it
crashed.
Dropped down to 10,500.
Wow, it's pretty low. Just kidding.
It dropped. It dropped $1,800 in 10 minutes. It was like a record drop in Bitcoin.
That's a lot.
But then, like, literally the next day, it had recovered like 2/3 of what it had lost.
Yeah, it bounced right back. Apparently, like, a lot of people are, I don't know, like, getting interested in Bitcoin again.
Well, not just people, actually, because right now the Google searches are a lot lower than when the price was around the same in 2017. What's because we're not seeing as many retail investors as we were during that bull run. It's a lot more institutional interest.
Goldman Sachs.
Goldman Sachs and Fidelity and a couple other groups are showing a lot more interest in Bitcoin, and it looks like because they want to get in before the halvening happens in May, which is when Bitcoin automatically reduces the amount of Bitcoin released in each block by half. And so when that happens, that's going to, affect the supply of Bitcoin. There's not going to be as much coming in.
Doesn't it usually go way up like before the halvening and then kind of crash a little bit like after the halvening? I think that's usually the pattern. Because I think that's buy the rumor, sell the news kind of a thing.
Well, I mean, that could be the case. That did happen before, but right now it's looking like that after the halvening, it's actually going to skyrocket. Oh,
you think so?
Yeah, I do.
And how long does John McAfee have?
He's got till the end, December 31st, 2020.
Okay, and he's still in jail, right? He's in prison.
No, he's in Cuba.
He's in Cuba?
Yeah, he's in Cuba running a campaign for president of the United States from Cuba. I don't know. John McAfee, it's actually been really interesting what's been the world of Bitcoin has kind of been crazy the last couple of weeks.
Did he escape from custody?
No, well, it's really unclear what happened, but
was McAfee replaced by the McAfee bot? Did they kill him?
First of all, Ethan, it's McAfee.
Oh yeah, McAfee, right?
Like how you say MAGA instead of MAGA, like with the American accent. But
I say it with the Chinese accent, John.
But it's funny because McAfee's campaign manager was poisoned last week and ended up being in the hospital. And John McAfee felt like the CIA was coming after him, and he was to deliver a keynote address at some Bitcoin conference, and he instead sent his body double, and his body double was poisoned and woke up in a hospital after a 4-day coma.
Wow.
And then his wife was poisoned.
I was going to say, I actually thought maybe the poisonings were his wife because she's a little firecracker, John, from what I've heard.
Yes, she is. But no. And then so John McAfee was basically saying, like, she
just poisoned herself to allay suspicion. she's going after John.
No, but John said that if things kept happening, he was going to release all these like condemning dirt that he had on certain CIA agents, and then his body double, woke up in a coma 4 days after he was supposed to deliver a keynote address, and so he went on Twitter and like started giving dirt. And I wish I had taken the screenshots because he deleted them, but like they were very specific things about like CIA agents. He was like basically, exposing the knock list from Mission Impossible. It was hilarious.
I'm sure someone has taken those screenshots.
Yeah,
they're out there.
I don't have them in front of me.
Sounds like a good conspiracy Friday, John.
Also, Craig Wright is he's the Australian guy who's pretending to be Satoshi Nakamoto.
Oh yeah, he's a Bitcoin SV or whatever. Satoshi's Vision. SV. Is that right?
Oh yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Right. He runs Bitcoin SV and has been claiming he's Satoshi Nakamoto. And then everyone else has been like, no, you're not, including yes. John McAfee has been like McAfee has been leading that charge. Right.
Well, because Wired magazine did a profile on him, believing that he was Satoshi, and then the next day they're like, or actually more likely he's like a really clever fraudster. And right now he's in West Palm Beach, being sued by the estate of I forget the guy's name. I think it's like Cregan or something. Cregan, who really was one of the original guys who knew Satoshi Nakamoto. Not knew him personally, but worked with him with Bitcoin in like the early years. And his estate is claiming that Craig Wright, fake Toshi, stole $5 billion worth of Bitcoin from him. And he broke down in court on Friday, actually, crying and saying like he is the real Satoshi Nakamoto, but the reason he can't prove it is because he hired Cregan to like scrub all evidence his involvement with like the creation of Bitcoin, because he's like this great forensics computer guy and stuff. And
Jeffrey Epstein hired him, actually.
The guy's estate is claiming that he falsified and like backdated a bunch of documents, that would like give Craig Wright control of all his Bitcoin properties after his death. And it's so funny because Craig Wright was like, yeah, I don't even, that's too much money. My wife and I discussed it, and that's too much money. And it would ruin our kids. And it's like, you are such a lying sack of shit, dude. Like, no one believes you.
I don't want all this money. Yeah. Right.
And, because there's an interesting aspect written into the Bitcoin code. The first 50 Bitcoin that were released in the Genesis block, which is now called Block 0, which is unique among blocks because it doesn't refer to a previous block on the blockchain.
Right.
Those Bitcoin cannot move. They're just like there. And no one's sure if Satoshi Nakamoto did this on purpose or not, but like it had always been rumored that Satoshi could move those Bitcoin, and like that was the one way to prove that you are Satoshi Nakamoto, is if you could move those Bitcoin.
Interesting.
And so the judge asked him basically to move those Bitcoin, and he's like, "Oh, well, the reason I can't is because," and like just he made up that whole story about how he hired Kragan to like scrub any evidence that he was Satoshi Nakamoto, and like to put all his Bitcoin in a blind trust, and then he died, and now I can't access it. That sucks.
Huh. This would be like if I don't know, Hitler got mad at David Irving for not giving all the credit. I don't know. I'm trying to think of an analogy.
But it's funny.
No,
because,
I did the Holocaust. I hired David Irving to prove I didn't.
But it is funny because his whole story makes no sense, because he's like, yeah, I hired this guy to totally conceal the fact that I'm Satoshi Nakamoto, and then I announced to the press that I was Satoshi Nakamoto.
Right.
Like, dude, you're such a liar.
Well, yeah, change of heart, the way Kamala Harris did on body cams, John. Okay, people change.
Yeah, exactly.
People change.
Yeah, people try to change the past. It's lies. Also, a thing I wanted to talk about, though, Ethan, is did you see those pictures going around of AOC looking sad in front of a detention center?
I did see some of those, yeah. She was standing in front of like a chain link fence, but it was mostly just a picture of her, and there was like sort of a vague chain link background. Yes,
that is exactly correct. And the great irony, of course, is that it has actually come out that she was doing that in like the entire photo op was staged, that she was actually standing in front of an empty parking lot
in Queens or something.
No, but in the Southwest, to be fair. But like literally, God, I'm looking at this picture from another angle, and she could have literally walked around the fence. Like the fence was open.
Oh, wow.
So she's crocodile tears, and she's just like pretending that she's looking at a concentration camp of Hondurans, and weeping for these poor illegal immigrants. And like the whole thing could not be faker. And it shows you that like, because everyone thought AOC was real. Everyone thought that AOC is
right.
Like, wow, she tells it like it is, and she's a millennial, and she's one of us. And here she is doing the exact same dishonest bullshit as every politician.
I feel like AOC is more of like an Instagram model than like a U.S. congresswoman,
Yes, that's what these pictures are.
Her main thing is like photo shoots, right?
Yes, it reminds me of like all those social media influencers going to Chernobyl, and taking pictures and being like, "Wow, Chernobyl's crazy. Wow, it's the history here."
It's funny too. And John, it's like you going to Auschwitz and doing that. By the way, it's funny too that like she's sort of theoretically a like socialist, like a Marxist or whatever, right? Like leftist,
right?
But like, yeah. Actually, she like everything that she does is like the worst kind of like bourgeois, just
absolutely
aesthetics. Yeah, it's like this is not really anything having to do with like helping people, is it? I don't know.
No, she's into socialism in the same way that like all upper middle class, above average looking women in New York are into socialism. It's right. Totally
I feel like you're
performative.
Specifically attacking the Red Scare art thoughts, John, and I will not allow it on this show. Okay?
Ethan and
my
all
queens,
their listeners.
My queens.
Your queens will be guillotined, Ethan.
How dare you, John? Can you just let them have some cake first, please?
Anything to shut them up.
Oh, come on, John. Let me see what else is going on. Okay, so AOC is kind of a fake. All right, we knew that. Trump, John. He is in Japan right now. He just met with the president of China, Xi Jinping, and he came out and said, "Hey, we're going to hold back. We're going to hodl back on those tariffs, John." So,
good.
So he's not going to enforce the the 25% tariff, the big one that he was threatening. What do you think? What do you think about that?
I'm glad that he's not, and I'm kind of shocked that he does seem to be winning this trade war, which is odd.
Easy to win.
It's not. They're not easy to win. But,
and good. Don't forget. They're good.
Well, that's the other thing is it has unmistakably hurt the American economy. There's no doubt about it. Yeah. But it hurt the Chinese one worse, and so it looks like President Xi is is caving a little bit and giving in to some of Trump's demands. I still am against it completely in every way, but I am surprised that it does look like this may actually be a legitimate victory for Trump as opposed to the ones that he says are victories.
That's interesting. I got kind of a different perspective on that here in China this week. I have a friend who is in the telecom industry. He's a kind of a bigwig in the telecom industry. Actually, he owns one of the largest consultancies, or partly owns one of the largest consultancies that works with all the telecoms out here in Asia. And he was actually, he and almost everyone I've talked to out here, and everyone I talk to all the time, is super anti the political correctness thing. It's so funny. It's we're all liberals, but we're all this. The left has gone crazy in America. They have to be stopped.
That's hilarious.
Everyone I talk to is like that. Yeah, it's great.
I love that. The real leftists want free speech and nationalized health care built on the organs of the executed. In China, it's this is what real leftism is. You can say whatever you want, and you could, hey, if you need another kidney or something, there's plenty more where that came from.
No, but okay. So, but my friend said he was yeah, I don't like Trump, but I like him better than having some psychotic liberal in there. I was okay,
sure.
And then he said I don't think I don't know if the trade war is the right move, but it's good he's doing something because he's talking about the Huawei thing. Do you know that whole thing with the chips and spying? Yeah, these phones. Which, by the way,
newsflash: the Chinese spy.
Yeah, it does happen. And they make very good phones. But apparently, one of the things they're doing right now is because of the conflict with Google, they've basically set it up so that. And actually, I can't remember whether this is coming from Google or coming from Huawei, but it's because of the issue. With Google, which is Google Maps doesn't work here. Everything it's Google is completely blocked for political reasons.
Sure.
And so Huawei runs on Android, as does everything.
Right.
They're I don't know if you know, but there is at this point only iOS and Android. There aren't any competitors anymore. They've all been flushed out. Windows Mobile is dead. All that stuff. And so, if you're not an iPhone, then you run Android. And because of this issue, Android now will not update any more Huawei phones ever. So
good.
So like these phones, like they just won't work after a while. I think. I mean, I guess they can just run the old software, or maybe they can even build their own software that'll run on it. But like, that's not that easy. And like 5G is coming out soon, and they have to like try to make that work. And I mean, if they don't solve this stuff, then China's just going to be like lagging behind, on all this tech stuff. And anyway, so my friend's basically saying like this Huawei thing is bad, and the fact that they're blocking all these sites is bad, and it's just this huge pain in the ass to deal with everything here in China, internet related. And he's like, I don't know if the trade war is the right answer, but someone needs to do something, and at least there's some action, I don't know.
That's interesting.
I mean, Trump, he cares about trade and immigration, and I don't think he cares about anything else, but he actually does care about those two things.
Right.
I don't know what the answer is with regard to all this stuff. I don't think trade wars are good or easy to win, but I do think that I don't know what Hillary Clinton would be doing right now,
Ethan, whatever happened to a good old-fashioned normal war,
Apparently Trump hates those too, John.
Yeah, what a coward. I can't believe he backed off from bombing Iran just because it would kill 150 people.
Well, John Bolton didn't get his way on that one.
I know, it's pretty epic.
Why did he even hire John Bolton? He hired him for the same reason he hired Jeff Sessions, just to like not do everything and like piss him off, just to cock him. He just loves saying no.
What I can't wait is for like John Bolton to like rush in to the Oval Office with like some super important memo being like, sir, the Iranians finally do have nuclear capabilities and they're mobilizing right now. And Trump's like, I'll go to war with Iran. Thank you, Mr. President, if you shave that fucking mustache.
And he's like, the whole thing? He's like, no, just the sides. All right.
That'd be great.
That would not be great. That was a joke.
And I need you to diet.
Diet? No, go on a diet. You're fat as fuck. Bolton. Also, you remind me of the guy who fucked my second wife, okay?
Hitler.
Oh, John, see if you can follow this chain of logic, okay? So
is it libtard logic?
Yeah, John. So listen. So Trump supports Putin, right? As we know, he loves dictators.
Okay, all right. Already off to a horrible start with this.
All right, Putin supports Maduro, right? Huh?
Yes.
Ergo,
that's true.
Trump is a socialist. What do you think?
Ipso facto.
It's irrefutable, John.
Wow. When you put it that way, there is no doubt that he is a socialist.
Checkmate, John.
A socialist with some... He's a socialist with some nationalist qualities to him.
He's kind of
very interesting.
Yeah. He needs to be stopped, is my point, John. Okay.
Well, I got news for you. He's not going to be stopped by any of the libtards I saw debating the other night.
Oh my God, it's so bad, man. And Yang spoke the least, which was.
Oh, Yang had his mic turned off. Did you see that?
Oh, I didn't know that. No.
Oh yeah.
I thought you were supposed to know about technology.
No, this isn't. This isn't a conspiracy. Well, I mean, obviously it is a conspiracy because the journalists who are running the second debate conspired to not let Yang talk. But I mean, it is verifiable. There's a clip of him. He did have his mic turned off during the debates when he was not fielding a question directly asked to him.
Who turned off his mic? Donna Brazil?
I assume, whatever. I don't know who moderated the second.
I think it was Chuck Todd, I guess. Maybe.
I know Chuck Todd and Rachel Maddow did the first.
Oh no, maybe not. Yeah, maybe Lester Holt or someone like that. I don't know.
Yeah, it was some journo cuck. I know the second one was like journalists were a lot more involved with it, but
sounds like a good thing.
Well, no, because they were up to their dirty old tricks like usual, and they're cutting off Andrew Yang's mic. But no, his mic was off when questions were not asked to him directly, because everyone else, was allowed to like interrupt and just like jump in, because the second debate was a lot more freeform than the first one. And
they were just racist. They were like, no, he's reserved. He's Chinese. He won't. He won't.
No,
he wouldn't dare to interrupt. Right.
There's a great clip of him saying, like, excuse me, like trying to jump in on one, and like you can hear everyone else talking except for him, just like his mouth is moving and no sound coming out.
Wow, it's kind of a metaphor, John, really, for the Yang Gang.
Yeah, it's kind of proof that like democracy in this country, because like democracy, honestly, and I'm not being ironic here, democracy is at its best in the debates. That like when candidates can argue their points of view and their policies against each other, and like the voting public gets to see what they're all about. They get to see their dispositions and they get to see their policies. And the fact that these debates are like so controlled by such a small select group of people, I think we know who I'm talking about, that like Andrew Yang gets his mic cut off. Like, and is not allowed to engage in the debate.
Yeah, that's unacceptable. Well, maybe it was just a glitch, John, Just a coincidence.
Sure,
an ordinary coincidence, not the one spelled the other way that you like to spell it.
Coincidence?
Yeah. I don't know. But that's bad.
Also,
that's bad. I wanted to hear more from Yang.
Bad. Yeah, but too bad, because they don't want you to hear more from Yang.
How am I supposed to get the bag, John? Okay?
Also, like, because, Tulsi Gabbard was the most Googled candidate after the first debate, because she ignored some bullshit question about identity politics and instead went on, like, an anti-war, anti-Saudi Arabia rant. And, like, that really caught people's attention.
Ooh, I like
because
that.
Everyone remembered, like, oh yeah, I'm anti-war. America's been at war my entire fucking life, and I'm sick of it. And so she was the most Googled. She was the most Googled candidate after that first debate. And then, like, the hit pieces, the bullshit lie hit pieces started coming out, like, right after that. Right after Drudge Report released that she was the most Googled candidate, some bitch at the Miami Herald wrote, like, oh, despite touting her foreign policy expertise, she floundered in the debate, And there was another one, an NBC article was saying that, oh, the Russian bot propaganda machine has discovered Tulsi Gabbard. And it's like, how are you still going with this fucking Russian bot narrative thing? Like, people, it is not Russian bots who Googled Tulsi Gabbard. It was viewers of the Democratic debate who are tired of the endless fucking wars in the Middle East.
Well, I'm tired of it too, John.
But the establishment press is going to continue to lie about candidates who go against the interests of the establishment press.
Well, the only solution is to get out there and vote for Tulsi Gabbard.
She's actually terrible on everything except for her foreign policy.
But isn't that the most important thing?
Yeah, it probably is, in my opinion. I mean, because like people talk about, like, that kind of shows you the mentality of the average Democratic voter is that they want free health care and could give a fuck how many brown kids we bomb overseas.
John, I guess you're going to have to vote this election.
No, because Trump's going to win.
So you won't vote because Trump's going to win?
Yeah, there's no point.
Well, everyone said there was no point in voting last time because Hillary was going to win, and look what happened.
Yeah, Trump won.
Yeah, so
it's the same. It's the exact same thing. It didn't matter if you voted for Hillary because Trump won. It's the exact same. My logic is consistent here.
I don't. That seems like there's a flaw somewhere.
No, Ethan. Trump is going to win. He's a winner. Everyone else is a fucking loser. Okay.
If Harris is the nominee, I kind of hope Trump wins. So I guess we'll see.
Wow. I'm going to isolate that audio.
I'm voting for, I don't know. I might actually vote for Gabbard. I'm probably going to vote for Yang still, though.
Honestly, Yang is clearly the best candidate that the Democrats have. Even though I'm not for the UBI, I don't think it would ever get passed if he became president. And so he would have to do like something else that's reasonable and based on like markets,
right.
Instead of all the crazy other shit that there's. Here's what cracks me up is the establishment media, like corporate media, their favorite so far has been Elizabeth Warren.
Right?
Like they've
can't
Elizabeth
win. By
Warren.
the way, she will not win.
Absolutely not. But that's who they're going for right now. She gets asked the most questions. She's given the most time to speak, and she's given the most favorable articles after the debates.
Because here's the thing: she's like an intellectual. She has like specific policy positions, and journalists tend to be like educated, and so like she sort of speaks their language, and they like her because they're like, oh, a technocrat,
of course,
yeah,
an academic.
Right,
specifically.
Right.
Yeah, and journalists, they all love that shit. It's all one big club called the Cathedral. So of course they love
okay.
Of course they love Elizabeth Warren, but the fact that they are deluding themselves into thinking that she can beat Trump shows what a fucking bubble these people live in. Trump would wipe the floor with Elizabeth Warren in a debate.
Yeah.
Because she lied about being a Native American. She did the equivalent of blackface and benefited from it personally for decades. I mean, this woman is a liar and a fraud. And Trump is the one who has made it famous that she's a liar and a fraud.
Yeah, that'd be funny. It's like if blackface got you into Harvard. Instead of writing the N-word on a Google Doc, got you out of Harvard.
Yeah, exactly. But like Trump is the one who's embarrassed her over and over with the Pocahontas thing.
Right.
And even got her to embarrass herself by posting the results of that DNA test that proved that she's less Native American than the average American is.
Right.
So the idea that like she would stand a chance against Trump in a debate is astonishing to me.
Yeah. I always felt like she just couldn't like hold her own when she, you know what I mean? She just seems too like soft spoken, and then the whole thing with the Native American, I'm just like, nah, I don't see it. I don't see it.
Let me tell you something, Ethan. Journalists, they love that type of person. They love the Elizabeth Warren. Oh, she's got policy. She's an academic.
I mean, Obama's that person too,
No, Obama was cool. Obama was like the most charismatic. Obama did the March Madness brackets every year. Obama fucking played basketball.
all your things are about basketball.
Obama can palm a basketball. He wears Air Jordans. No, but like Obama is cool. Elizabeth Warren is not cool.
You're like, he's black. Did I say that one already?
He can shuck and jive like no one's business.
All right.
But,
don't say that.
But Elizabeth Warren doesn't have any of those things. Like, yeah, Obama was an academic, but he didn't come off as one. Elizabeth Warren comes off as one.
Yeah, she does. Professor Warren. Yeah.
Guess what? Voting public hates those people. They hate teachers. They remember like being in school and hating like the know-it-all asshole professors. Like Trump is obviously like much more appealing because he's still the billionaire playboy who fucks porn stars and speaks his mind. It's like, which is more appealing to the American voter?
I don't know. I always like a good philosophy class, John.
And you like a good pegging in your asshole, Ethan.
Both ways to expand your horizons, I say, John.
I hate it when you call your asshole a horizon.
Well,
a singularity.
Well, John, just have a look at this vista, I say.
Ethan, that is a black hole from which no light can leave.
John, put your eye right up to the people, okay?
The problem is smell escapes that black hole just fine.
Oh, it's really a paradox. That's what we call it in physics.
I hate when you call your asshole that too, Ethan.
Oh, my God. All right. Well, let's do some segments, John. We have time for some segments.
Yeah, but I just want to get this one joke in first. You're a bottom with a bottomless pit.
All right. That's unhelpful. A lot of Chinese girls don't shave their pits. I've noticed on the subway. No, it's hot.
You've noticed that on the subway?
Yeah.
So because they have their arms up holding the handrail and just like their fucking pit hair's just there.
That happens.
Okay. Do they shave their legs?
I don't know. They're so smooth and hairless. I can't tell.
They're just a backwards people.
I think it's kind of hot.
And because you're gay, and the more masculine a woman is, the better.
No. I had a conversation with Freddie Stebbins about this. I told him how my favorite website is Extremely Hairy Turkish Girls, and he was like, "That's not gay."
But Freddie, because Freddie's like, I like him hairless. I like him to be young, hairless boys.
Well, you can ask him about that, John, when he's on the show. How about that?
He's like, that's what's really gay, is fucking a young, hairless boy. So you're safe, Ethan. Don't worry about it.
You're straight and narrow. All right. Yeah, let's do some segments, John. We have a cuck this week? Who's this week's cuck?
It's a classic UK you cucked.
Okay, good. UK? You cucked.
Yeah, so the Rochdale grooming gang, who has been convicted of
by the way, worst
grooming.
Punk band ever. I hate it.
I liked their earlier work,
yeah.
But
does that mean younger or okay?
No, back when they were doing it in Pakistan.
Oh,
but
all right.
The Rochdale grooming gang, which was convicted of being a grooming gang and rape and securing teenage girls to be raped and sex trafficked and all those things.
This is somewhere. This is in London or something.
It's in Rochdale.
I don't know where that is
in England.
All right.
It's one of the small towns where the police were afraid to investigate it for fear of being appeared racist.
Right.
But
still not entirely sure this is not just some kind of right-wing Breitbart fake narrative.
Unfortunately, it's not. But a judge ruled that they should have their citizenship stripped because of the heinous crimes that they committed.
Wait, you can do that? You can strip someone's citizenship? How do you do that?
Ethan, the UK doesn't have rights.
I thought that was like a basic human right, though, that you can't make someone stateless.
No, I think they're still citizens of Pakistan.
Oh, but if you're Pakistani, aren't you like automatically like in the Commonwealth? Or does it not work that way anymore?
I have no fucking idea.
I always thought it was kind of weird. Like I always thought it was kind of like a weird like right of return kind of thing. Where like if you were in a Commonwealth country, you could always go back to the UK. Is that wrong?
I know in Africa, shit, I forget which country it is. But in Africa, I know they're trying to get one of those former Commonwealth countries is like wants to rejoin the Commonwealth. And like I think the Queen is actually receptive to it.
Interesting.
But in the case of the Rochdale grooming gang members, 10 years after the attack, and they have still not been deported. They're still in England. Let me
How many
read
people
to
are
you.
in this gang? Is it like what does that even mean?
It was three men who were convicted of.
That's a gang in England? Because there's a lot of Crips and Bloods, right?
I'm sorry. No, that's I'm sorry. 9 men. 9 men.
Still not that big of a gang. Work on it, boys. That's.
Only 9 men, and yet they've raped way more people than the Crips. So
I don't know if that's true. Right.
Oh, you think the Crips are the real rapists here, Ethan? That's pretty racist stuff, yo.
I don't actually know, but there's a lot more of them. I'm just saying. We'll say they rape more per capita. Okay.
Yes, that's how. Yeah, fine. Okay.
I mean, since they are the grooming gang. I mean, it's right in their name.
and they're not well groomed at all. If you could look at these, they look stinky.
Right. But, how dare you, John? Must you impugn them on every level, John? Is that so important?
Sorry that I'm not respecting these serial rapists, Ethan.
Well, I don't actually. I've never heard of a Rochdale grooming gang until just now. So you just made them up, and now
No, this is in the Metro, Ethan.
I don't know what
The
that
victims
is. Fake
of
news.
the
Sounds
Rochdale
fake.
The victims of the Rochdale grooming gang say they have been failed again after it emerged their attackers have not been deported despite judges ruling they should lose their British citizenship. Shabir Ahmed, 66, Kari Abdul Rauf, 50, Abdul Aziz, 48, and Adil Khan, 49, were among 9 men convicted in 2012 of a catalog of sex offenses against girls as young as 12 years old.
Ooh.
Following their conviction, 8 judges upheld rulings that all 4, who each have dual UK Pakistani citizenship, should lose their UK citizenship rights. However, since then, none of the 4 appear to have been deported or be facing deportation. Ahmed, known as Daddy in the gang, is still serving a 22-year jail term for rape. But Rauf is reportedly back living at his home address in Rochdale. And Aziz has also been seen in town, locals said. Khan's exact whereabouts are unknown. Victims of the grooming scandal have reported bumping into their attackers the street after their release from prison. People in Rochdale say one woman who was abused as a child wet herself and ran into a shop after spotting her attacker without warning, while another victim bumped into her abuser in a nightclub. The Home Office will not say whether a decision has been made to deport any of the 4, and a spokesperson said they would not comment on individual cases.
So is this just like a bureaucratic hiccup? Like, are they still planning to do it, or?
Who the fuck knows?
It's interesting. So they just kind of slipped through the cracks.
I guess. But I mean, let me tell you something. If these are the guys slipping through the cracks, what the fuck are the priorities of law enforcement in the United Kingdom?
I don't know.
Serial rapists who organize rape gangs are like just on the streets, running into the hey, didn't I rape you 10 years ago?
I feel like that's not probably what they said.
No, because I doubt they speak English.
All right, John.
My point is, Ethan, these are the number one priority, besides maybe ISIS terrorists, the number one priority of people that you should be deporting from your country would be serial rapists.
Yes, that does make sense. But why? How are they removing their citizenship in the first place? That still seems wrong.
No, it doesn't.
I mean, if
why?
Okay, so John, let's imagine that you're convicted of rape. All right. Now what? You're no longer an American citizen?
No, because I was born here. Where are they going to deport me to, Ethan?
Well, that's my point. Where are they going to deport them? Pakistan. They're from Pakistan. They're Pakistani. They have Pakistani citizenship. So you would deport them back to Pakistan. When Shine got convicted of murder in the United States, he was deported back to Belize. You know? Yeah, but he was never an American citizen in the first place. I think once you're an American citizen, you can't lose your citizenship.
I don't know that. I don't know the laws, but this isn't America. This is the United Kingdom. And it would make sense to me to get these people the fuck out of the United Kingdom instead of letting them go back to Rochdale to run into their abuse to the women that they raped. That's fucking insane.
I do think
Which is more insane? Deporting them or letting them go back to Rochdale?
Well, they did serve their debt in prison, right? They've been reformed. Is that right?
I don't think they converted to Anglicanism, if that's what you mean.
That's not what I mean.
think they're still Muslims.
Well, how about this though? What if there were some Briton who was just born in Great Britain and they were just convicted and then they served their time? Then they would be out on the street as well, right?
Yes, but they're not foreign citizens.
I know, but why does that make such a big difference, I guess?
Because, Ethan, the natural-born citizens of a country obviously have precedent over foreign immigrants. How is that so hard to believe?
I just think we're all people, John. You know? We're all humans.
I know, but don't you see that you always end up siding with the Muslim rapists on these issues?
I hate how you put it like that. How dare you? I don't side with the Muslim rapists, okay?
It seems like it.
I mean, I'm not siding. I'm just asking questions.
Yeah, I'm asking questions. Like, UK, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, it seems like they should have probably gone through, if you are going to indeed deprive them of their citizenship, then you probably would want to go ahead and deport them since they're convicted criminals and they've done something particularly horrible.
running a sex trafficking ring lands you 7 years in prison? That seems kind of crazy. Only 7?
Yeah.
Or maybe less than 7. Who the fuck knows when these people were released? This story only came to light because the victims are running into their abusers on the streets in their hometown. Who knows how long their sentence actually was?
Well, it's a good thing we have journalists to report on this stuff, right, John?
Yeah, right-wing journalists at jihadwatch.org.
That's who did the shoe leather work?
No, actually, it was the Metro who did it, but that's who I found the story from.
Good work over there at the Metro. Bad work over there at the Jihad Watch. Stop focusing so much on the jihad. All right?
Stop worrying about Muslim men raping young British girls as young as 12 years old. Stop caring about that.
Can't we just be upset at everyone being raped, regardless of their religion, John? Or their ethnic background? Why do you have to focus so much on that?
Ethan, I'm focusing on nationality here. Pakistani nationality.
All right, Jesus Christ. It does seem like the Brits should have got on top of that one. So they are pretty cucked, I guess, in that sense.
Yeah, I would say letting rapists out of prison to go back and rape your women again. This is a cuck move.
Did they go back and rape again?
Well, we'll see, won't we?
I hope not. I hope we won't see.
It's just a roll of the dice. Hopefully they won't form another fucking sex trafficking ring in Rochdale, Ethan.
Or anywhere else, right? I think it's pretty terrible how you want to unleash them on the citizens of Pakistan, John.
Pakistan isn't a real country.
I don't know what that means. Thanks to Britain.
No, what I mean is, like, their government doesn't actually control anything. I mean, it's like a failed state. That's what I mean.
Oh, I see. And whose fault is that, John?
That's definitely the Muslims.
Oh.
No, it's definitely the Muslims' fault.
Well, they're the ones who invaded and then partitioned the country. I think we could still blame the crown.
Yeah, I blame the crown for the fact that the military has been hijacked by radical Islamic extremists.
Yeah.
No, obviously not.
Okay, well, I don't know.
UK, you cucked.
All right, UK is cocked. Fine. For many, many reasons, not just that one, but that's the reason of the week.
Yes.
What about a conspiracy, John? Is it Conspiracy Friday? I think it is.
It is Conspiracy Friday, and we got a very topical one here for you, since I know you're in China and you're hearing propaganda about Mao.
Just make sure whatever you say next that it's very pro-Mao, John, because I don't want to get in trouble.
This is pro-Mao, actually.
Thank God. Okay, good.
This is a lot lighter than our Cuck of the Week segment.
Oh, good. No raping? Thank God.
No, this is from the BBC. Stalin used secret laboratory to analyze Mao's excrement.
Well, Freddie Stebbins has been analyzing Chinese excrement without a secret laboratory, so...
He says his laboratory is in his mouth. But you know what's so funny? I love about a headline like this is, like, you just know it's true. You know?
Yeah.
Like you know Stalin had a secret laboratory where they analyzed Mao Zedong's shit.
You know that because it's just too weird to make up and too good to check also.
No. Ethan, I'm sure the great state propagandists at the BBC did their research here.
Good.
But it's so funny. And the reason they did it...
That's why, see, John, that's why we need public funding of journalists here in the States.
Yeah, so we can... Actually, I wouldn't mind the public funding because I think they'd be paid even less than they are now.
I'm gonna find out about like Thomas Jefferson analyzing King George's shit or something.
But he just had to go by smell. That's the only tool in his box. But the reason they were doing this is because, like, this is before the Soviet Union had, like, good spying equipment. It was before, like, they could like bug rooms and tap phones and things like that.
So they just check your shit.
Seriously. When Mao Zedong came to the Soviet Union, in that like failed diplomacy event, where that actually worsened Chinese and Soviet relations. When they went there, they had like all these special toilets installed that they didn't go to the sewers.
No pipes. Yeah.
No, the pipes literally just went to boxes. And then I'm serious.
Wow.
And this is from
I'm just imagining some like Russian soldier whose job it is. So he's like, hey, it's better than Gulag.
This guy eats a lot of pork. But it is former Soviet agent Igor Adamanenko who claims to have uncovered this unusual project while doing research in the archives of the Russian secret services. Quote, in those days, the Soviets didn't have the kind of listening devices which secret services do today. That's why our specialists came up with the most extravagant ways of extracting information about a person.
That is one extravagant extraction, let me tell you.
But here's the thing, because like, what do you think it was that they could hope to learn from Mao's shit?
They're like, well, it's brown.
Okay, so Chinese shit does smell bad. Interesting.
Wow, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
What they're looking for actually was if they detected high levels of the amino acid tryptophan, they concluded that the person was calm and approachable, but a lack of potassium in poo was seen as a sign of a nervous disposition and someone with insomnia.
I'm imagining like Archimedes coming out and the four bodily humors are unbalanced. That was as far as Russian science had advanced at that point.
But listen to this. For 10 days, Mao was plied with food and drink, and his waste products whisked off for analysis.
They're like, we got to keep feeding him. We need more data.
Once Mao's stools had been scrutinized in studies, Stalin reportedly poo-pooed the idea of signing an agreement with him.
Oh wow! So it really had a real geopolitical effect.
It looks like it really did. Like they're fucking. It's like reading the entrails of a cat. This is like Soviet witchcraft. Being like Stalin's like, I don't like the smell of this shit. I don't trust this guy. This is an ill augury for the future of our relations. But it's funny because the way Mao was treated, like, really turned him off to Stalin and the Soviet Union, and he just
kept feeding me. He just kept giving me food for no reason. It was disturbing.
Literally, yes.
Oh
yes. Wow. Like Mao said, because Mao thought that the room was bugged. He just assumed it was bugged, but it wasn't. But they had like people like with their ears to the wall.
It wasn't
listening.
Bugged. It was bogged.
But Mao shouted at the walls, convinced Stalin had bugged the house, and said, "I am here to do more than eat and shit."
Sounds like that's what you think, buddy. Well, this is like that physics principle, like the Heisenberg thing. Like you can't measure a particle without changing it.
Right. Well, yeah, it is like that because what do you expect to learn from his shit if you're controlling the food that he's given?
Right.
It's just going to come out what you fed him. They're
like, let's see. There's some potatoes in there. There seems to be some beets.
It's like, oh, he didn't finish his borscht. I'm not seeing a lot of borscht in this shit. Can we really trust someone who doesn't like borscht?
Oh my God. And these days, when an American when an American world leader goes to Russia, they just piss on him. The tactics have changed, John. You know, they've upgraded.
You know what would be so funny though? I think like if Trump was put in this situation and like kept in a house and Stalin just kept feeding him and analyzing his shit, Trump would come back and be like, had a great time in Russia.
He would. He got a lot of tweeting done. Yeah, food was... a lot of Twitter time on this trip.
Most powerful toilets I've ever encountered. Oh my God.
That's great. Yeah, so there was a real conspiracy.
But yeah, apparently it was
something is rotten in the state of Moscow.
But it's funny because Stalin apparently did this for a lot of people, and when
it's like a scat fetishist at this point.
And when Nikita Khrushchev took over, like this program was brought to him, and he was like, "Okay, we're ending this immediately."
He's like, I've heard of Stalinist purges, but this is ridiculous. We're not doing these purges either. No more purges of any kind.
Oh God. And the Russian Federal Security Service refused to comment on the story.
Oh, well, confirmed then, obviously.
I do think this is true.
Sounds right to me, John.
Yeah, because Mao did come back from his trip all pissed off at Russia. Now we know why.
Right. Oh, that's great. Wow.
I could also, I imagine it'd be great if they did like other experiments on him. Like they didn't give him enough toilet paper just to see how he reacts to shortages or something, you know? Right. Like, let's see him improvise. If he can't handle this toilet paper shortage, how can he run China?
Yeah. Oh man, that's great. You know, it's funny though. You'd think it would be the Germans doing this.
Yeah, you would think so.
Right? Hitler had a whole different program. He really did just taste it. It was just a...
Yeah, that was the most disgusting part of Dr. Mengele's collection. You know, it was all the stool samples.
Oh, that's probably not actually true.
Oh, you don't think?
I think there were worse parts. Yeah. Oh God. Okay. Well, so
pretty steamy conspiracy, don't you think, Ethan?
Steamy, indeed. Wow. So Mao Zedong shit's good or bad, John? Oh man.
Apparently bad. The consensus is bad.
Oh, so bad. All right.
I like it's where they bring him the information, and these scientists are like, yeah, so we didn't really learn anything from these shits at all. They just smell bad, and Stalin's like, well, do we want a guy with such a filthy asshole, to be our friend? Oh God.
That's confirmation bias, John, okay?
Stalin's like, God, if only I could get my hands on some of FDR's shit, then I know if I can trust him.
Thank God we had a better security apparatus in place, John. Could have lost the Cold War, for God's sakes. Well, he never got up out of that wheelchair, too. Wiley.
That's why Trotsky was expelled. Because Stalin didn't like the look of his shit.
Oh, God. Wow.
Oh, God.
Wait a
Soviet
minute.
science, way ahead of capitalist science, Ethan.
Well, you know what? It does all go back to the Germans because Marx, right?
Yeah, exactly. I know.
I haven't read all the way through Das Kapital, John, but I bet there's something about this in there.
Yeah, but you will now.
Yeah, now I'll be reading it on the toilet.
The toilet that goes to a box.
Yeah, he's like, wow, they have strange toilets here. I just hear a plop. He's like flushing the toilet, and there's like a Russian guy like making flushing sounds, like.
No, he goes to sit down, and he sees an eye looking up at him from the hole.
It's like a horror novel or something. Yeah. Oh God. He just shrugs and shits on the eye. That's what you do.
Thank you, comrade.
Oh God. All right. Well, that was pretty good. That might have been the best Conspiracy Friday I've ever heard, John.
I know. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's great. More of this, less anti-Semitism, I say, John.
Okay.
They all have to be about shit now.
If only, Ethan, there were more stories like this and fewer about Jews scheming, you know?
Well, you're just not looking hard enough, John, okay?
I just work with what I'm given here.
You're on all those anti-Semitic websites. I'm going to send you to the scat websites. Oh, God. All right. Well, great show, I say, all the way from China.
Absolutely.
A couple technical problems along the way. We'll see if we can clean those up. I don't know. I have a feeling you're going to
get to work.
You're going to be broadcasting through your phone here as you did this episode, but we'll see.
How annoying.
Maybe if you had a better connection, or you were allowed to broadcast outside the cuck shed.
Or maybe if you hadn't defected to our nation's greatest enemy.
They're our friends, John, okay? That's what I say. All right. Well, that about does it for this week's episode of Mean and Sober. I hope everyone has had as good a time as we've had talking about shit on the show. If you do like the show, please donate. Go to patreon.com/meanandsober. You can join our loyal army of cucks on there, and yeah, throw us some cash. We'll give you a t-shirt if you donate at least $10 a month. You can also write us a rating and or review on any of those podcast apps that you listen to the show on. We'd appreciate that. And tell a friend. We want to get the word out about Mean and Sober. Right, John?
Absolutely.
Yeah. You can follow the show at Mean and Sober. You can also join our group, The Meaner and the Soberer, on Facebook. You can follow John Gregory on social media. Where, John?
At John Gregory Jr., at John Gregory Jr.
Check him out on Twitter. It's all just retweets of Trump on the toilet, though. That's pretty much all you see.
That's all you need. You could learn a lot just from those shits, Ethan.
It's just John agreeing with Trump while Trump is shitting, basically.
I'm like, smells like freedom.
You can follow me on social media disagreeing with all those shitty tweets from our president. You can follow me at Ethan Is Not Funny, Instagram, Twitter. I've been getting access to those through the Great Firewall of China occasionally. And yeah, that about does it for this week's episode of Mean and Sober. I'll see all you guys later. And John, I'll see you later.
See you later, you chai con cock.